What's going on, my beautiful people from YouTube? I want to talk to you guys about what's happening in this market, where we're going from here, and I want to also give you guys stuff to make sure you're protecting yourself. My goal is to try to give you information that's going to be not only valuable, but give you a little bit more insight than what you might read on headlines, because there's a lot to this thing, and I want to make sure you guys are safe. I am not immune to what has happened. I lost money in this whole ordeal, and I just want to give you guys an explaining of like how we got here, what's actually going on, and where we're going, because this is really critical. There has never been such an important moment in the history of crypto, something as large as this, because it impacts everyone, everything, even governments are involved, and that's a huge deal for all of us. Let me break some stuff down. All I ask in return is like give it a sub, to the channel, give it a like on the video, leave a comment down below so you can enter a giveaway, give you guys a hardware wallet, because I do want to make sure you guys are protecting yourselves during this time. We don't need to have any more people lose any more money with what's going on, and it's just not a fair game at this time. I don't like the way things are, taking place, and I want to make sure you guys are in a good spot, or as best of a spot as you can possibly be, because like I said, I'm not immune to this thing. So if you guys are hurting, if you guys, had your own losses, no, this is not the end. This is the beginning of the end, and we have a lot of road ahead. And I personally believe that we are set out for bigger and better things long term. It's gonna hurt. It's not gonna be great right now, but we're gonna get there. That's what I want you all to understand. Let's break things down carefully, because I don't want to step on any toes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to step on a bunch of toes, and it's just the way it is, because we got our toes stepped on. We got screwed over by a bunch of people. So why not be honest into exactly what I'm seeing? This didn't start yesterday. This started a couple of thousand years ago, when people decided that it was a good idea to not carry their gold around. Fractional reserves are what kind of got this whole ball rolling, right? If you think about it, crypto is supposed to be the opposite of that. Right now in the banks, they are only, liable for 10%. They need to have 10% of what they're lending out or putting out there into circulation, which is just crazy. So think about this. This is how it all kind of started out, and give you a little bit of history. You go, you have this. It's a note. Why is it a note? Because back in the day, people didn't want to carry their gold around, so people wanted to be safe. So they created these gold houses, and people would go there, put their gold, and they would get a note. They would get, a certificate of deposit saying, I have X amount of gold in deposit. And people would go there, pick up their gold, use it, take it to the market, and bring gold back and put it in there again. Soon enough, people started going, wait, why am I doing that? So they started trading these notes. So they started passing them around. So now think about it. You got these gold houses are going, oh, this is cool. People are just passing money around. They're just passing these notes around. They're not really coming back for the gold. So we should loan this out. Why not? Because people don't all want it at the same time. And that's how things began to work the way they do is, they're literally printing money saying, yeah, I'll give you a note worth X number of gold. And it just kept going and going and going from there. And that's how we have fractionalized reserves right now. That's why banks can experience bank runs, because if you try to get all that money out at once, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work because they don't have the money. So that's the world that crypto was supposed to solve. Having a one-for-one type of scenario. That is not exactly where we're at, because as you can see, people had $8 billion worth of liabilities and only $1 billion in reserves. Speaking directly about FTX here, this is the biggest failure ever, but it gets worse because of the people involved and how we got there in the first place. So fractionalized reserves are terrible. I know you all can agree with that, because this is where it got us. Yes, it helps move the system forward. It helps people be able to generate more money. It helps countries grow, absolutely. But there's a huge risk that comes associated with it, meaning that the money that you think is real is not real at all. It's just money being printed. It's not legitimate. And I'm going to get to what some other exchanges are doing and how I think you all should protect yourselves in that regard as well. Why is it so bad? Why does this even, a thing? And I want to just listen to this little audio clip of Sam talking to lawmakers, which is wild in my opinion.
Last thing that I'll say is if you look at what precipitated some of the 2008 financial crisis, you saw a number of bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions happening between financial counterparties, which then got repackaged and releveraged again and again and again, such that no one knew how much risk was in that system until it all fell apart. If you compare that to what happens on FTX or other major cryptocurrency venues today, there's complete transparency about the full open interest. There's complete transparency about the positions that are held. There's a robust, consistent risk framework applied, and we're excited to work with the CFTC on our U.S. licensed and regulated venue to bring a lot of this.
All right. I'm sorry. This is the exact opposite of what was actually going on. There is no transparency. And I'll take it a step further. There is a goal of wiping that transparency as much as possible. So much so that the hack that took place recently on FTX that, took a bunch of people's money out. I think the money is secondary to what they were trying to do. And this is speculation, but according to sources, people that worked at FTX, they said nine months ago, the exploit that was used was actually put into place and was made available for it to be exploited, essentially. And it wasn't about stealing people's money more than it was about wiping data. Why would somebody come in to take people's money and instead wipe data off the system? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Like, that's why literally everyone is saying it's an inside job. But when you say inside job, who's in the inside, right? Like, that's the other portion of it. It's bad. Because if you take this little picture into account, you have Sam, who's the CEO of FTX, who's an MIT graduate, who was working directly with Gary Gensler, who's the head of the SEC. Like, they were like hanging out together, guys. Like, they wanted to make sure that the crypto regulations were moving forward. But then you also have the connection between Gary and Glenn, who happens to be Caroline's dad, who was dating Sam. So Caroline, the CEO of Alameda, who Sam placed there. And I can go on and on in regards to Caroline and the videos that are out there talking about how stop losses are not a good way to mitigate risk and all of that stuff. But Glenn over there, the professor of economics at MIT, who's also the former boss of Gary Gensler. Like, this is all super interconnected, and it's just disgusting. Like, this drives me crazy that this stuff is allowed to happen. Then you have, the guy, the head of the SEC that's supposed to be working for us, the people, making sure that we're safe. And this is how he responds to,
and so let's just start with, what do you know and what are you investigating?
Andrew, as you can imagine, and your viewers know that I can't speak about any possible investigations, but let's step back and say what's happening here. And it's really as old as finance and as antiquity. When you mix together a bunch of customer money, non-disclosure, and leverage, borrowing against it, and inside these companies trading, investors get hurt. And I think just looking at what we see in the press, if I can stay with that, just Andrew, this story has been going on for many months. You remember the collapse of Terra Luna and a bunch of crypto lending platforms. Well, it looks like in the last few days, this is all interconnected. This is a very interconnected world in crypto, with a few concentrated players at the middle. And one of those concentrated players had the toxic combinations of lack of disclosure, customer money, a lot of leverage, meaning borrowing, and then trying to invest with that. And then when markets turned on them, it appears that a lot of customers lost money. And that's where our mission is about those customers.
He said absolutely nothing in that video. He basically said, yeah, people were doing bad things and that's not good. You were right there. You had access to all this stuff. It makes absolutely no sense for you to try to pass the buck, say, yeah, we care about the customers, but how does that translate? And here's my biggest concern. And this is kind of crazy talking about Bitboy, but yeah, Bitboy was right. And I agree with him. He had a big old rant.
I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto, while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. This douchebag is out here trying to tell you that only the suits know what to do. Only the suits. Only the people who have all the money. They're the ones who can determine what happens. No, our bill is for the people. And you're going to find this out.
And now he's saying, I told you so, I told you so. Taking care of customers doesn't necessarily mean what they are trying to make it mean. Like, you're talking about big money here, and all they want to do is regulate it up the wazoo and just make this, hey, we got to regulate it. We need to know everybody who's doing. Okay, take a step back, take a breather on this, and realize that first, you cannot control a decentralized platform. What you're trying to control are decentralized platforms and trying to force them to do things the way that you want them to. You want to have control. I don't want to say they're all working together to make regulations more stringent, but when Sam is the second largest donor to a political party in the United States, you got issues. You have big issues. And this is not political. At the same time, it is, because it affects all of us. All of us. If you're in crypto and you want to have solutions, if you want to see this entire, literally the world, be a better place for you to, use money, real money, not fiat, like things that actually have value, something that people can't just print whenever they want. You got to be careful with what types of regulations are going into place. So when they're trying to use these events as reasoning behind, I'm going to lock things down, I'm going to make sure that people are paying, it makes absolutely no sense, guys. Like, it pisses me off. Like, I am like so done with all of this. The issue is that it's not isolated either. And this is why I'm telling you guys, I want to make sure I give you guys, a hardware wallet. You guys need to be sure that you own your crypto. Everybody knows the whole not your keys, not your crypto aspect of things, but this is real. This is exactly what's happening, because these exchanges go down, these centralized places go down, and your money goes down with them, because they have zero care for your funds. When they're, intermingling funds that are supposed to be customer funds and company funds, there's a huge red flag there. The one person that I've heard from recently that it made me okay keeping some of my funds, and only funds that I'm willing to lose, was MEXC. I'm an affiliate with them. Link down below if you guys want to check them out. You don't have to. I would check it out just so you guys get an understanding of how things work. It's the only exchange right now that I have not seen some kind of crazy, not only rumors, but like data from. Talking about that data, let me just give you an example in plain sight in regards to Gate.io and Crypto.com, how they transferred 285,000 ETH and then sent that back 5 to 7 days later. And transaction history is right here, as they labeled it as the Crypto.com 5 wallet. It went to Gate.io, then it came back. And this is not like rumors, right? Chris from Crypto.com, the CEO, said, oh yeah, it was supposed to be a move to a new cold storage wallet, but we sent to a whitelisted, external address instead. Mistakes like these don't happen. That is a lot of money. And everyone is trying to defend it, but the proof is on the blockchain, right? And there were talks, like, it's such a big deal that if you go to Gate.io, they put up a thing saying 100% proof of reserves audit. They got a certificate from a third party, which, verified things. And great, they verified things, but is it legitimate? And that's what I was basically bringing up, because if you take a look at this tweet that I put out yesterday, Gate.io tried to say that, the snapshot was taken on the 19th. This happened on the 21st. They're like trying to separate things as much as possible. That's not how it works, guys. That's not the way this works out. Because if you take a look at it, all they have to do is actually look at real dates. The firm auditing this whole thing, they stated that on October 20th, obtained a list of Gate.io's addresses holding Bitcoin and Ether assets in scope for the assessment. So this stuff was like happening on the day that they were doing this transfer. They said that they required a transfer to your own wallet. All they had to do was list his wallet as one of theirs. And like the hole keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. They're like misquoting information from their own reports. I mean, there's just like a trust now, right? Like, I don't have money anywhere. as far as exchanges are concerned, except for MEXC, and it's only limited with the amount of money that I'm actually willing to lose, like I said, because I think this is going to go down. And the reason I say that is because not everyone who lost money, not all projects who lost money with FTX and this whole ordeal have reported, have said, oh yeah, we're broke. Project doesn't have any funds. People are going to freak out very soon once people start admitting that, hey, remember all that money we thought we had? Yeah, it's gone. We don't have it anymore. Because $7 billion is a lot of money to lose. And I don't think all the parties affected have fessed up to the fact that they don't have their money. And now I actually, came across this morning that there's even more reports between Gate.io and Houbi, for, they're under fire for allegedly sharing snapshots using loaned funds. It just gets worse. So more exchanges, they're all like going down. And this is, it's fractionalized borrowing from one person to another, right? They're saying, oh yeah, you can have this money, snapshot, have it back, take it here, bring it there, and they lend things out when they're not supposed to be lending things out because they don't actually have customer funds. They're just, sharing that between themselves. And two things, please. And the not financial advice, this is what I'm doing, so I want to make sure you guys understand this. Don't keep your money on exchanges right now. If you can't trust them, take your money out. Use a cold storage. Use, at a bare minimum, a hot wallet. It's just not worthwhile. It's not worthwhile risking your, funds to somebody that isn't transparent or clear with what they're saying they're doing. And secondly, take heart, because it sucks, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it stinks. But I really, really do hope it's gonna get better, because I believe in this environment. Like, that's the reason why I've been in crypto for so long. Being in this world is stressful to no end when things like this happen, but I'm glad the house of cards is coming down now, not later. The sooner this type of thing happens, the better off we're going to be long term, so we can rebuild it right. Has to be done with people with the understanding that, yeah, crypto can be very transparent and not, trying to make up facts, but take a looking at blockchain and all the information that's on there, how things work. So transparent that you can take a look at Vitalik sold 3,000 ETH during the FTX hack, and the price of ETH has been dropping ever since. So we know that he sold at a high point. He did the same thing last time, ETH was peaking. He sold. I don't blame the guy, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight as far as where does he think this is going. Yeah, he holds a whole lot more ETH, no doubt about it. But if you're going to sell any of it, you want to make sure you're selling it high, not low. And that's exactly what he did. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person for selling your ETH. No, it's like, all right, you're making your own financial decisions. You own a bunch of it. So yeah, go for it, buddy. Enjoy the highs. But it should go to tell you guys that things are not that great. If this guy is selling it at that price, thinking that, yeah, this is a good price for me to sell it at. We've been going for a little while. I want to make sure that I don't go on and on. But I will make one last comment. Mario has been running these crazy spaces on Twitter. And again, nothing against Mario necessarily, but I want you guys to understand that you need to take people's words with a grain of salt. I don't think Mario has bad intentions at all. I've personally spoken with a guy. I have nothing against him, but I want you guys to put things into perspective that this is the founder and CEO of IBC Group. And IBC Group makes money with crypto, with investments, with pumping bags, their own bags all the time, because that's what happens in the world of crypto. Does he mean well? I'm sure, to a great extent, I'm sure he does mean well. But I want you guys to understand that first, well, I'll say two things about him specifically. And, I got no problem saying this. Again, throwing people under the bus, stepping on people's toes. That's just what I do, I guess. The big spaces that he ran, that Elon joined and everything, I am very upset at the fact that he sounded like a huge Debbie Downer as far as the long-term outlook of crypto. And there's a lot of people looking into these spaces, watching, multiple journalists that I personally reached out to and said, hey, make sure you understand that person's negative outlook might just be one person's outlook, and don't take this as what we are all, expecting long-term. he was running for like 16 hours, you know, that space is, it's kind of wild. It's crazy. He was tired. So just please be sure to understand that a person's opinion is exactly that, one person's opinion, that their point of view is exactly that, you know, a view from one point. And not only that, he has his own secondary motives, that things that he wants to do. Perfect example was him retweeting Caroline_FTX saying, "Stop the slander, we will take illegal action." And this is not even a real profile. I'm going to push this, push. And it's just one person. Yes, he's got a team, he's got people working for him, but at the same time, they do make mistakes. It's not fair for the entire industry to be looking at one space, at one guy, and expecting that to be the law of the land. Like, that's not how it should work. As I always say, do your research as a whole. Do your research for the entire market, multiple perspectives, good and bad. Kevin OLeary, you know, Mr. Wonderful is saying right now, he's kind of PO'd because he lost a lot of money because he kept talking about how FTX was amazing and this is the best thing ever.
If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX.
And that's not how it kind of worked out. So now he's calling for more regulations. Regulations are going to be necessary for the space to move forward safely. Regulations already exist. They need to be adapted or implemented in a way that works in crypto. That's what it is. But going back to that second point for Mario, a statement that I don't think is fair for him to say, for him to state, was that he expected exchanges to come on his space and explain themselves. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you an explanation, Mario. You are not the king of crypto. Great, you got a space that's trending, that's got a bunch of people watching. That doesn't mean that you are the person that they have to respond to. I appreciate the exchanges that made time and were able to do something like that. I'm going to reach out to a few of the guys that are running exchanges that are reliable or that I can believe in myself and try to get some information to you guys directly here on the channel. But you can't say that, oh, why weren't you willing to come on and explain yourself? That's just not fair. That's not a good way for you to run this entire, you know, business of yours, because you're essentially trying to say that you are the end all and be all, and somebody doesn't explain themselves to you, they are in the wrong, which is just not fair. I've been talking for a long time. Please leave a comment down below. I want to make sure I can draw one of these wallets for you guys. Fast Miners hooked me up with a bunch of these and I'm just giving them out. This is not a pitch, and the code action always works on the website. But what I'll say about the code is that I'm not getting any money from it. I just asked them to provide a discount for anybody who uses it, and they have been working on stuff in the background. They reached out to me just this past weekend and said, "Hey, what can we do to help with the situation?" I said, dude, like, get people hardware wallets, because they need to get their crypto off of exchanges and onto their own. Like, they need to actually have their keys. And they said that they're running a special. They're going to figure out how much they can discount it, even if it's at a loss, for people to get hardware wallets at a discounted price. That's what's happening. I don't know what the discount is. I'll put a link to them down below. Again, I don't benefit from this financially at all. It's not like I'm making, you know, commission on these things. I'm giving this one away for free. I'm going to be, you know, paying to ship it out to one of you guys. I'll leave a comment down below, like this video. And yeah, here's what I'll ask. Do good. Make sure you're responsible with your funds. Don't listen to one source. Make sure you're doing your due diligence and researching what's actually happening out there, because I want you all to be successful in the space. That is my one hope for all of you. I want to celebrate with all of you. I want to hear from you guys and say, yes, this works. This is awesome. This is great. And I expect great things out of this space long term. Short term, it ain't looking pretty, but we're going to be okay. You guys are great. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.